This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of The Bad Batch Episode 4 of Season 1, Cornered. And, of course, there'll be spoilers, but also, I am sorry this came out a little later. I just got back into town yesterday, and did not have a chance to record at all yesterday. This is the earliest chance I got to record, after finishing unpacking and everything. So I will, of course, just be releasing this immediately after I finish editing and recording. I am using Battlefront footage right now, but I am planning to, in next week's video, to just use, of course, the pictures from the episode, like I did with The Mandalorian. It's just been I had finals work to do for the last 2 weeks before this, and although I was out of school this week, I was fully out of town, and just wanted to get this out as soon as possible. So that's just really why there isn't any, and I'm wondering if you did enjoy my week of scheduled videos. And I think I'm just going to record all my videos right now. I believe I'm going to be doing a comparison of Batman and Zemo, like I did last week with Butcher and Zemo. I'm going to be doing a review of Spiral, the Book of Saw, and I'll have an extended Arrowverse recap, or review, coming out on Wednesday, which will include 2 episodes of The Flash, 2 episodes of Superman and Lois, 2 episodes, I think, of Batwoman. I'm not really sure. I think 2 episodes of Black Lightning, and I'm really not sure what else there. And 2 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow. That'll be coming out. I have watched all the episodes up to this point besides the Batwoman one. Not Batman, Black Lightning. And that's my plans for this week. And then, of course, there'll be a Bad Batch review next week again, which I'm going to try to edit even better, since now I do have the time. But really, I am excited for this, and let's go into this episode. So I thought this was a really good episode. I think that it's either the second or third best of it. I really did enjoy it, and I think they did a good job. So far with episodes, we've had, of course, an amazing premiere, followed by a pretty good follow-up one, and then an extremely good one after that, and then this one, which was also really good. So far with rankings, I would say episode 1 was my favorite, either followed by this week's episode or last week's. I'm feeling like last week's was just a little better with all of that crosshair stuff, so I'll give that one number 2. This one's going to get number 3. And the Cutler Queen one, although it is good, it's just not as good as the other ones, which is why I'm giving it number 4. But I've really enjoyed all of these episodes. It's not like they've been bad, it's just they've been better than the others. And although this is on the lower half, it's not really that bad since we're only 4 episodes in. And even though this is number 3 of 4 in my ranking, I still think that I really enjoyed it. It's just a really good episode. So let's go into a recap of it. So we begin this episode in a pretty simple place. We have the Bad Batch running out of fuel, and they have to go to the planet of Ventura to be able to get supplies and credits. And for anyone wondering, now this is not something inspired by the 2009, I believe, James Cameron movie Avatar. It actually existed for a good long time before, and there was the planet in first kind of appeared in, not exactly appearance, but Pantorans first appeared in, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which was 2005, about 4 years before the film, and I'm sure it appeared in Legends before that point, and George Lucas actually played, I believe, the first one we saw, so it's inspired by that. In fact, someone could say that it was the other way around, but who really knows? Going back into the episode, they land on the planet and meet a Celestin. I don't know his name. I'm pretty sure if you had the subtitles on, you see that, but I really only have subtitles on when I play games, mainly since I'm more focused on what I'm doing and not what people are saying. So I usually have them on there so I could see if I miss anything that someone's saying. And he basically takes a bribe from the Bad Batch after they try to figure out what a bribe is, which was pretty funny. And after that happens, he goes and immediately sells him out to Fennec Shand from The Mandalorian. Well, we know her from The Mandalorian, which takes place around 30 years later after this, which is pretty crazy to think that she was active, even though we saw her in the trailers, so early into the Empire. And I do have an interesting theory, which I think other people have mentioned before, which I saw in reviews, but I kind of thought of this before I saw that. So I'm not really stealing it from anyone, but I've heard it from others. I'll go into that in a minute, but she basically hunts him down and finds Omega, who runs off to try to get a clone trooper doll or stuffed animal or whatever from some dog creatures that I think were from Legends, from what I saw in the other videos. I don't really know their names, but they're pretty cool. And while she does that, Echo is disguised as a droid and is sold for 3,000 credits and is immediately able to escape since it's not actually a droid, and that was their plan the entire time, just to get the credits. Which, funny enough, around the time that happened, Omega is bringing up how you shouldn't be stealing, and the Bad Batch technically just stole money from this one guy who's the shop owner, and that is a pretty interesting thing. They then are having Tech and Wrecker work on changing the transponder signal of the Bad Batch shuttle, so they will not be found as easily. Of course, they could still be found, but it's not going to be as easy to do it. They'll have to identify the ship visually, and really if they change the paint job or something, they would be able to get away pretty easily also. We first saw this in Rebels, where it's pretty easy to do it, unless your ship has become really, really infamous, then it's pretty easy to catch them, with the main reason of that being because if you look at what was going on, the Rebels blew up Tarkin's Star Destroyer in there, and that made the ship basically be known to all Imperial officers, so that might be the problem with the Bad Batch if they do anything extreme, or if it's just the Empire already knows what the ship exactly looks like, then any competent officer who was shown a hologram or something of the ship will be able to go after it, and maybe not even care if it's not the ship, as long as they take it down. Since of course we know the Empire isn't going to really care if they accidentally kill some civilians in a summer-working shuttle, if it means possibly taking down the murderous Bad Batch who betrayed them. That's at least how they'll see them, but of course they're not really that bad, and it should be propagated to make them look bad as traitors. But of course that's going on with the episode, and Omega finally learns a lesson that all kids do. You shouldn't just trust strangers when she is taken by Fennec Shand, and really that was pretty interesting to see how she's both a nice person and she is confident in her, but she is also a ruthless killer who will do anything to get the job done, including killing police officers, killing civilians in their speeders, and more. And that chase is a really nice chase that, of course, like everyone else noticed, is very similar to the speeder chase that Anakin and Obi-Wan had with Zam Wesell in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Of course, the Star Wars movie is not of this, because we know that that's not happening in the show. And really, it was really great. The last thing that happened was Echo was, of course, able to take the droids from that one place and repair the Batch's ship so they could escape. And that all worked out very well. I think that episode was very good, and they did a really good job with it. The chase scene was very interesting, and it definitely shows how good of a fighter that Fennec Shand is, because she did take out one of the best members of the Bad Batch, Wrecker, with a single hit, and other people think that this is ridiculous since he is designed to be very strong. If you think of it, that there are so many other species where they're probably as strong as Wrecker all the time. If you think of it, the Demeronians, I believe they're called, which we saw back in A New Hope and actually seen in action during the Prisoner episode of The Mandalorian. When we're looking at that, they are very tough, and probably even tougher than Wrecker is, and stronger, but she has learned good tactics to take them down, and probably was informed on each of the enhancements by either the Kaminoans, who I think hired her, and I feel like it's unlikely the Empire, because then she would just be hired to take down the Bad Batch and kill all of them. But it looks like she is more concerned with taking Omega in alive, which, especially with Tarkin, we know is not the Empire style. And probably the only ones that they want for alive are people to use as bait, like Han Solo and Leia, and Chewie and everyone else were in Empire Strikes Back, or to get information from them, but it is pretty clear that they wouldn't have any information, and if they wanted Omega, they would have just told Fennec to kill him, and she would have likely killed Wrecker. So, really, there's actually a likely chance it was the Kaminoans that had her hired. But that's usually it for the recap, and then we can go through the review after I go over this quick theory. And I do think, like many other YouTubers have said, that Fennec Shand is probably working with a young Boba Fett. And, of course, I think I saw this on another YouTube channel, I can't remember which one. You want to watch a bunch of spoiler breakdowns and, everything before I see this, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I did think of this before, but it was reinforced by this, that Jango Fett was possibly an ally of hers, and that he gave her the connection with Boba Fett, and that it's likely that the Kaminoans would go through someone they know they can trust, the young Boba Fett, who is now a bounty hunter, building up a bounty hunter's guild of his own. And I don't know exactly about it. I remember reading about them in, I believe, Dark Disciple. He has a small gang of them. And of course, I remember reading the Young Boba Fett books back when I was a kid, and remember that Boba Fett did have a very good relationship with the Kaminoans in that. And it seems likely that they would hire him, someone they trust completely, to be able to go and capture Omega. But if they do go the way of Legends with the Clone Rebellion, Boba Fett will be leading that Imperial Strike Force trying to take him down, which will be very interesting. But I really think that there's a good chance that she is working for Boba, or she's using her connections to Jango, which I think is possible, and could connect her either to Boba or the Kaminoans directly to be able to get them, and that's why they trust them so much. And I think that's a really good theory to put in there, and I've heard it in other places. But I just wanted to connect them together and put my take on it, which I was thinking before I saw these videos, so I didn't really steal it from anyone. Of course, and then I'm going to go to my first reaction to the episode. I thought this was a very good episode, like I said before, although I think it is the third best, or you could say the second worst so far. That really isn't saying that much, and I did have fun watching it. It was a very enjoyable episode, and I think a very good job was done with it. I can't wait to see where this continues, and really, that's it. I'm so excited and can't wait to see the next episode. I've been loving this show, and although people think that this is filler and all filler is bad, I don't really think like that. I'm fine with filler, as long as it's not really extremely pointless and far too repetitive, but depending on what kind of show they're making. Like, let's say that it's one that does have a main story, and most of the episodes are filler not connected to it, I might be a little more annoyed with that. But generally I'm fine with it as long as it's a good story. If it's filler and it's bad, I'm not going to be mad because it's bad filler, I'm going to be mad because it's a bad episode. I really don't care if it's filler or not unless they do nothing with the main story. This is pushing along the main story partially by showing that Omega is wanted by the Empire, but also giving, or maybe perhaps the Kaminoans, we just know that she's wanted and has a bounty on her, and we definitely get stuff built up and character development. That's not like filler is pointless, it's just stuff to put in to not directly impact with the main story, but does have good connections to it and what's going on, and just gives us a new unique story. And the thing is, if you think of it, technically most of the Clone Wars was filler, since there was no main story for it to go along, so there was only a few episodes that really pushed along the main plot of the Clone Wars. Really, I mean, the main plot of Clone Wars we're talking about Palpatine's plans. That really, the only ones that are not filler episodes are ones like the Clovis arc, where we really revealed that Palpatine's taking over power, or stuff like the Siege of Mandalore, the arc of Fives discovering the inhibitor chips, and possibly a few more, because, well, if you think of it, if you're going to push on the main Clone Wars story, it's going to be Palpatine taking power to eventually become Emperor, and stuff related to that is main, storyline stuff. But everything else, including famous arcs like the Umbara arc, are technically filler, if you look at it that way. So filler isn't bad, And finally, probably tonight, if not soon, I'm going to start streaming Arkham Origins through Steam. And really, I'm doing it through there since I don't have access to it through the PS4, because it doesn't have backwards compatibility, and I don't have a PS Now subscription, and even if I did, it's pretty blurry and usually crashes a bunch. So I don't really want to do that because it's going to be annoying. I'll be streaming Arkham Knight through Steam also, since of course it has blocked content for streaming if you play through the PS4, although I do have it on there. And I'll also be playing Cold Heart and all the Arkham Knight DLC through it. I do have some other Steam games, including some of the older classic ones, but I'm not fully that good at them, with the exception of Knights of the Republic. But with the way Origins is my system, I just really can't play those games without having to save my load after every time I complete a mission or fight, and then reload it, since it doesn't work that well. So that's really my main problem. I am playing through Knights of the Republic 2 on my phone right now, but I can't stream until I get 1,000 subscribers on my phone, so I really can't do that, although I want to. And after I complete Knights of the Republic 2, I'm probably going to have a comparison video talking about them, both the first and second ones, as I play those, and the mobile versions. And really, that's my main problem, is that I can't play them through Steam because I could, but it takes a lot. I'm going to be a lot of reloading screens because of that, so that's me really annoying to edit if I want to just look straight. And that's why I can't play them through the PC, and I just go through the mobile versions. But that's really it. I'll see you in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please like the video, leave some comments, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends, and may the Force be with you